AskReddit by Mobile Mister. In dating, what profession would be a deal breaker for you and why? After reading all the comments, looks like engineers and accountants are desirable. We're just nerds looking for love. Based on feedback from women on various Facebook groups about dating, I would say cops, surgeons and lawyers. You would think these are good vocations, but they are full of control freaks and cheaters. Surgeons have to be confident to the point of arrogance to do what they do. I worked with an tea debt collector. It wouldn't be a deal breaker in itself, we gotta do what we gotta do, but they were so proud of how good they had been at squeezing money out of people. Zero reflection. Couldn't date someone like that. That belies a different issue, a lack of empathy. They'd probably be that way in other aspects of life. Lawyer. I am a lawyer. I know lots of lawyers who are married to other lawyers and I don't get it. Being in a relationship with another type A person who also likes to hear themselves talk and also has to be right about everything all the time is fucking exhausting. My relatives are a lawyer power couple. For a gag gift one year my family got them argument scorecards. They asked for refills. Mob boss. My aunt was once romantically pursued by a mob enforcer. She wouldn't offer any details other than that he was, apparently, surprisingly hot. Archaeologist. They all have mummy issues. Sitting in my car reading Reddit. Now I'm lolling in my car. Thank you. Realtor. I've worked with hundreds. Architect. Number that were competent and actually fully represented their client's interests. One. And that was kind of a special situation. The low barrier to entry, high failure rate, and high incentives for bad behavior with a low risk of punishment pretty much means that even someone with good intentions is going to have to round some corners on the regular. Plus, if it's residential real estate, forget about having any weekends free. Social media influencer. Puffed up sense of self-importance that will never go away, and I'd never be able to give her enough attention to sate it. Same. But my reason is more that I don't want my entire life to need to be documented for the amusement of random people online. If they're not that type of influencer, then I'd treat it as any other profession as long as they're making enough to support themselves. Priest. Depends on which buffs they have. Politician. Don't care which side of the aisle you're on. I think it should also depend on their jurisdiction. Federal? State? Local? For example, hypothetically, I wouldn't mind dating my local town's treasurer or something if we were otherwise compatible. I want my partner to have a job that they feel fulfilled by and that is a positive in their life. I would prefer not to have a community response partner. Emergency services, disaster response, police, etc. I want to know that my wife and kids are safe when things are going down, not having her run headfirst towards the danger. While it wasn't a job per se, I was a SAR volunteer when my wife and I were first together, and for the first few years of our relationship. Similar exposure to risk, similar unpredictable schedule, as other first responders, only you don't even get paid for it. I loved it, but she couldn't handle it after we had our first kid, so I gave it up for the sake of marital harmony. Still miss it tbh. Was just reading local news stories about missing hikers following a recent big winter storm, and felt a little bad that I wasn't out there searching. The kind of professional athlete that is on the road 10 months out of the year. Edit. I'm not super needy, but I personally need to have my so's undivided attention and not share them with any aspect of their career for at least one day. Those are just my needs. Someone else will probably find that arrangement suits them. I work in a field that is professional athlete adjacent, and in my experience the vast majority of them are unfaithful to their partners. Like at least 90%. It's the combo of being on the road so much, Being in male-dominated spaces so much, having a lot of disposable income, and having lots of very attractive people willing to engage in NSA encounters everywhere they go. Influencer. Could you even imagine your entire life becoming public property? Like every time you go somewhere, do something, it's all about pictures and less about the experience. It would just suck the fun out of everything. Anything MLM related? Not a chance. Anything with really weird hours? An occasional night or weekend shift is okay, but if they're full-time opposite me, that just doesn't work. Chronically unemployed or underemployed. You don't have to have high ambitions, but I will need to be able to rely on you to contribute your fair share. My ex worked in museums, really low pay, totally meant for retired people vs young people attempting to live. I had to pay for absolutely everything. Then came the time for him to get a new job and he can't because it's not his choice museum. Where he volunteers, they can't hire him, refused to get a regular retail job or anything at all in case he was called broke up. Once he started asking what's for dinner after I would get home from my super hard software development job that ran me into the ground. He couldn't even lift a fucking finger to do anything. I wish I could have been as comfortable and unemployed. Sex worker. I support your industry, just wouldn't want to be in a relationship with you. Yup. I worked as a dancer for a bit when I was really strapped for cash. I hated it, but it helped me out of a bad spot, so I am thankful. One of the big reasons I left was because I wanted a partner. I know it sounds crazy, but I wouldn't want to be with someone who is okay with me doing that. Honestly, any musician. I'm too insecure. They are always around a party lifestyle and I couldn't deal with them being at parties or shows every weekend. To be fair, I'm an orchestra musician. There's definitely no partying here. I've been told by the women in my life that men don't put when they're in the military or police in dating profiles because people just refuse to date them if they do. Every cop I've ever known has been an absolute knob, a high school bully who never grew out of the bully phase. If she was a carrier for UPS. This is a USPS house, damn it. Cartographer. Fuck your little maps. Please put this in your online dating profile. Cartographers, swipe left. Homeopathic medical specialist. If they believe in it, they're too stupid for me. If they don't believe, but do it anyway, they're too unethical for me. Any quack related profession. Chiropractors, alternative medicine. Bartender. 1. You're likely to get cheated on. 2. They're probably not going to move up in life for a while since the immediate gratification of tips is difficult to break away from. Former bartender here. Dated a bartender once. It was like the whole crew did it with each other in that hotel he worked. Cop, sex worker, quack medicine, life coach, 100% gig economy work. Advice for women. If the man you are seeing is a 100% gig economy guy and flashing money showing off partying in clubs, he's barely living paycheck to paycheck. I'm a lawyer and I wouldn't date another lawyer. Lawyers who date or marry seem to only talk about work and lawyer stuff. That's what I talk about all day, so it's the last thing I want to talk about at home.